All right, let's talk a little bit more about the Supreme Court and welcome in Ken Starr, author of Religious Liberty in Crisis. Also back with us, John Malcolm, Vice President of the Institute for Constitutional Government and he's a senior legal fellow there. Gentlemen, great to have you both with us.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
All right, Mr. Starr, first to you. From Joe Biden, that soundbite, pretty explicit with his, I'm not for this. And I mean, we could go back in the annals of history. He's got plenty of sound on this in the past. Joe Biden used to be such an institutionalist member of the Senate and respect these institutions. But now, I mean, he doesn't care at all about the Supreme Court or the filibuster or the cloture vote. These things are, not important anymore.
Well, John, it was a bad idea 80 plus years ago when FDR came at it. And believe me, I didn't know FDR, but Joe Biden is no FDR. FDR was coming up with this colossal win, just tremendous victory in the polls, and reelected president overwhelmingly. And he couldn't get to first base. His own party said, Mr. President, with all due respect, it's a bad idea. It was a profoundly bad idea then because he was very results-oriented. That's all he cared about.
Right. And,
the people who are pushing this just care about results. The court, whether you agree with a particular decision or not, is operating efficiently, effectively, with a very high degree of professionalism. There's nothing that's broke.
Right. John, you can take a look at this and, see what I see. Maybe I'm being cynical here, but everything is done to show the left that they're trying, number one, but they don't have the power to do what they want to do in the U.S. Senate. So, look, we can study the Supreme Court, how to change it all we want, but nothing is going to fundamentally change for Democrats. This is what they're telling their voters, unless we change all the rules, whether it's the Supreme Court or the cloture and filibuster rules in the Senate.
Well, let's stick with the Supreme Court for a moment. So back when he was a senator, Joe Biden actually said that packing the court was a boneheaded idea. And I certainly wish that President Biden would meet with Senator Biden. With the exception of 5 years during the Civil War, there have been 9 Supreme Court justices since 1837. Stephen Breyer said to Harvard at a Harvard Law School speech, Justice Breyer said that this is a terrible idea that would erode confidence in the courts and impact the court's independence. Shortly before she passed away, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said the same thing. But this is a dangerous commission. So certain of the changes that they might propose, say like term limits for Supreme Court justices, would require a constitutional amendment. But they could pass legislation by a simple majority to increase the number of justices. That is established by statute. It would be a terrible idea. The only thing really standing in the way of the Democrats from doing that at the moment is a legislative filibuster, and they'd have to be able to persuade all 50 Democrats to want to pack the court, with a tie being broken by Vice President Harris. But this is a threat, and it's a terrible idea, and I certainly hope that it doesn't come to fruition.
Ken, there was an article in The Atlantic that was released on Friday, an op-ed, that said President Trump's power won't peak for another 20 years. The second line of that story was by early 2040s, President Trump appointed chief judges will simultaneously sit atop nearly every appeals court in the country. Isn't this really what Democrats are scared of and are trying to avoid? They know that they blew up the filibuster for federal judicial appointments. President Trump and Republicans and Mitch McConnell took advantage of this, and they know that down the line, these conservative justices stand in the way of everything they want to do.
That's exactly right. In fact, if she serves until the tender age of 75, Amy Coney Barrett will be on the court until 2048. So this is their nightmare of very brilliant young judges at every level, including now at the Supreme Court of the United States with the 3 appointees of President Trump, means that they don't have control, right? This is all about power.
Right.
Who is in control? So they won ever so narrowly the United States Senate, which was the great, great hope that we would have some balance in the national government. They don't have that, but they're very greedy for power. This is as simple as that. It's all about power, trying to get control of it. And guess what? They have an independent judiciary. That's Article 3 of the Constitution, and they can't change that by this commission. I agree, by the way, with John. John, you're so right. This is a mischievous idea, and we shouldn't just be so cavalier in saying it can happen. It could happen, so we've got to be prepared with very strong arguments, including the argument of history that John has just made, that this just should not go forward.
Yeah, and John, he's talking about this John, not me, the other John, the legal expert on the screen. I just want to make sure that's clear. But John, last 30 seconds to you on this.
Yeah, look, this is a terrible idea. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Joe Biden announced that the courts were out of whack the month before he won the election. President Obama actually named over 90 more judges than President Trump is. This is all about the fact that the left is incredibly upset that Donald Trump named 3 Supreme Court justices. There is nothing out of whack about that. Ken referred to Franklin Delano Roosevelt's attempt to pack the court. After it failed, he ended up over the course of his 4 terms in naming 8 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices. So these things tend to play out over time. Packing the court would be a dreadful and irrevocable mistake.